You get a sense. This is how we practice extending the attention. Now, if we return to this diagram at the back here, genius, novice, professional, the mastery and mystery of craft. Each of these particular qualities of experiencing have different attention spans available to them. At the professional level, we have a volitional attention span of about 45 minutes. We can listen to someone that bores us, politely, quietly, for 45 minutes, with the sense of our personal presence engaged. But beyond that, it will be increasingly hard. Over here on the right, with the mastery and mystery, we would ask 1.5 hours of volitional attention would be available. The novice, 10 to 20 minutes. The genius, however long it would take.
What is the difference between rules, principles, and laws?
I read in Richard's interview in Speaker magazine in March, principles are universal. Principles are universal. Rules are specific, laws are invariable. With a principle applies across all fields, whether it's being a composer, a conductor, an actor, a public speaker, a real estate agent, a plumber, an electrician. Examples of principles. Honor necessity, honor sufficiency. This is a principle, the ecology of the inner and outer lives. Honor necessity is the rule of quality. Honor sufficiency is the rule of quantity. That's one principle, foundation principle. Second principle, perhaps. There is no mistake save one, the failure to learn from a mistake. No judgment. What a different context. What a different level of assumption that anyone that walks on this stage, you cannot make a mistake. You have everyone's support. There is only one mistake, the failure to learn from a mistake. Another example of a principle. Turn a seeming disadvantage to your advantage. The greater the seeming disadvantage, the greater the possible advantage. All examples. Rules are specific. You cannot use parallel fists. It's an example from music. Someone said that to Beethoven. Grumpy Ludwig. You couldn't say that to Beethoven, and someone did. They were telling Beethoven that Beethoven was criticizing a composer who broke the musical rules when Beethoven did it all over. Beethoven said to him, pretty well the same as Richard said to us. Rules, ta-ta. The genius creates the rules for us lesser mortals by breaking the rules which normally had effect. But that's not the intention. The creative insight, the point of seeing, is in a moment. It's a symphony in one note that continues moving outwards and sweeps everything before it.
You were talking about when you understand principles, you can talk to anyone, and the gentleman who's delivering the furniture?
Yes. Principle is universal. If we have, to some degree, acquired proficiency in our own field, we will find that the principles we know from our field are the same principles as in another field. And we can talk to people in that field. At the Red Line House, the first guitar craft house, which we had in Cranbourne, England, in 1986, a man from Parkstone was delivering a bookcase. And he looked around, seeing this house of 16 young guitarists. He said, what do you do here? And I began to explain to him what we do. And I showed him how we hold a pick. This is how you hold a guitar pick. See there? There, I played a string. All right, watch again. There. That's quite enough. And he said, you know, I shoot pistols. And that's how we hold a pistol. He said, you hold the pistol and there's the target, your finger's on the trigger, and you release your finger. That is how the bullet hits the mark. So there's the target, there's the gun, there's the bullet, there's the finger, which is released. There is nowhere else for the bullet to go. And we had a conversation. Even though we never met, other than when I bought the bookcase, he said, yes, I'll deliver it. We were having a conversation. When I read Richard's interview,
which we haven't sent to him yet,
I said to my sister, look at this. I never use a yellow marker to highlight anything in written material because I value the artifact. And yet, here, look, there are 5 places. There are 5 places where I've used a yellow marker. The first where Richard is talking about aim. This is his aim, at an early age, to seek instruction from someone that knows more than him to teach him. So we have the aim. We have the first 2 points that I've been talking about. We have early age, which is interesting because it moves to vocation. Vocation is interesting. If it's early enough, it comes from here. Why are we alive? What are we doing here? There's nothing arbitrary about it. We're here for a reason. What is the reason? We may not know it or articulate it, but it's there. And sometimes it speaks to us. And early on, we say something silly like, I want to be the very best guitarist in the world. Or, early on, I knew I wanted to train as an actor. And then he's saying principles are universal. Well, of course they are. And then he says, at Cirque du Soleil, when complacency threatens us, we use challenge. Challenge is a fundamental part of my personal discipline. What is a guitarist doing addressing NSA? It's a challenge for me. It keeps me sharp. It makes me re-examine what I know from my field to see if it might be relevant to others. In which case I can take it back and I've recapitulated and digested my own experience to a greater degree so that it can nourish me more fully. And here we have Richard saying this is what we do at Cirque du Soleil, challenge. And it goes on and on. But what I said to my sister was, look at this. This is a man I can talk to, is what I said to my sister at a very nice house in North Las Vegas just 2 days ago.
In Guitarcraft, you teach novice guitarists to learn the instrument while performing. Can you explain?
Guitarcraft is 3 things. It's a way of developing a relationship with the instrument, a way of developing a relationship with music, and a way of developing a relationship with ourselves. Now, in conventional forms of musical training, we learn an instrument, and then having learned the instrument and the vocabulary of music, we perform. The act of music is the music. Music is only properly music within the act of music, within the performance of music, and music is a social act. So why are we sitting in a room alone practicing for 8 hours a day until we know the instrument sufficiently well and then have to take it into a public context? So in Guitarcraft, we learn the instrument within a social context within which performance is encouraged. On Guitarcraft courses, we have at least 3 meals a day. There are many opportunities to get up and perform at meals. 1 minute is sufficient, and then there might be perhaps, we might invite in the mayor from the town, the nearby town. I have yet to see a mayor come to a Guitarcraft course with a showgirl on either arm, you understand? But nevertheless, the local mayor dignitaries might arrive and the students are given 24 hours notice to write, rehearse and present a performance for the community.